and a warm welcome to yet another edition of the Zambia 2026 General Elections Program. The countdown to August 13 general elections has truly begun. We have less than 25 days remaining, and at this point in time, every eligible voter should know where they will have to go and vote, what to bring with them as they go to a polling station, and what to expect on the actual election day. So today, we continue our discussion with the Electoral Commission of Zambia Voter Education Manager, Emma Mwinga, who has, by the way, appeared on this platform before. And so we want to take the discussion that we've had higher and look at the details and some of the concerns that you might have as voters. Ms. Mwinga, I would like to welcome you to today's program and thank you for taking time out of your busy schedule to just come and interact with our viewers.
It's a pleasure, and thank you so much for having me, and hello there, our viewers.
Voter education is a very critical component of the electoral process. Yes. So far, it's happening countrywide, in every province, in every district, and I suppose in every village and community.
Exactly.
What exactly is going on at this time as we sit in this studio?
Yeah, so thank you so much, Mila, for that question. So voter education is going on across the country. The Commission has launched the Count Me In campaign, and the Count Me In campaign is basically to reach out to every Zambian to be counted in this year's election. We have deployed various mechanisms for voter education. This includes voter education facilitators that have been deployed at community level. So in every ward, we have voter education facilitators that are going from village to village, community to community, providing voter education activities. We are also in schools. We are in various schools also providing voter education, in colleges, in universities, trying to reach out to the first-time voters, the frequent voters, those that are traditional voters, as you may like to call them, basically disseminating information. We're on radio, we're on TV, and we are gracious enough that today we can actually join you to discuss voter education. So we are everywhere. We have our billboards everywhere. We have our posters everywhere in our communities. And the aim is to ensure that Zambian citizens and those that are registered to vote have the requisite information, the correct information, so that on the 13th of August they can actually go and cast their vote correctly.
Just like I said in the opening, we have less than 25 days now to the polls. What are the three most important things that you can talk about right now that every registered voter must be able to know in order for them to be fully prepared for election day?
What is very important, something that we usually overlook as voters, is the custody of your voter's card. Where is your voter's card? Where is your NRC? Sometimes people, the poll day comes and you find that you can't find your voter's card, you can't find your NRC. It's important that every voter out there, they know where their voter's card is, or they are in custody of their voter's card and their NRC. And in the last remaining days of the period leading to the election, I want to urge the voters out there. We are tempted to always have our voter's card and our NRC on us wherever we go. So it's better you leave it in a safe place in your home, so to avoid it getting lost. You don't want to get to 13th of August and you lost your voter's card the previous day. So the custody of a vote, number one, is your voter's card is important. Number two, know where you are going to vote from. On every voter's card, there is the name of the polling station where each one of us will go and vote from. So as voters, let's familiarize ourselves where our polling station is located so that on 13th of August, it will be easy for us to locate where we'll vote from. And last but not the least, we also need to understand how to vote correctly. I mean, the official way, Mwila, of voting in Zambia is by placing an X on your preferred candidate. That is the official way. So we need to be aware. Let's not mix up with ticks and everything. It may be accepted, but the official way is an X. So every voter is expected to express their vote by placing an X on the ballot paper.
So when a voter places an X on their preferred candidate, that means that's their choice.
Have voted.
That's their vote.
They've expressed their choice. They have voted.
You talked about misplacing, you know, your voter's card. Or let's talk about it. If, for instance, someone has damaged their voter's card, what happens? Can they still come with maybe a defaced one and say, this is the situation, will you allow me to vote?
It's the question should be to what extent, but it is advisable that every voter, we keep safe our voter's card. That's why I earlier talked about the custody of our voter's card. So unfortunately, if somebody has misplaced their card or it's lost, unfortunately, time has run out for the commission to, I think the commission closed the replacement of voters' cards sometime in March this year. And because there are certain processes that go into verifying or certifying a register of voters. So at this particular 11th hour, I'll call it 11th hour because it's 25 days before our election, the commission is not replacing voters' cards at this particular time. So that's why the custody of a vote is very important. Every voter who has the voter's card, let's make sure we keep it safe to avoid losing it or having it destroyed in any way.
Okay, so in an election cycle like this one, you find that there's a lot of misinformation on social media, and sometimes people find themselves with information such as when you mark for your preferred candidate here, your mark will start moving. We had that in the past, I think in some previous cycle. What are some of the misinformation issues that you are encountering as ECZ on social media that really need correcting?
Okay, so I think the Commission has been very proactive to correct any narrative that is aimed at either discrediting or misinforming the voters. Because if a voter is provided with wrong information, it means that when they go to cast their vote, it will affect also how they cast their vote. So, of course, like you've rightly noted, there are various things that come on board or information that are misleading to the voters that extend to, for example, the manner in which you're supposed to mark a ballot paper. The past few days ago, I was actually in the field, and some of the issues we encountered includes that, oh, if you want to to vote for someone, you tick, and then the persons on that ballot that you do not want, you cross, which is wrong information altogether. So as a commission, our focus is to provide the correct information. No wonder our investment has been so much to ensure that we have a robust voter education and publicity campaign so that the general public can have the correct information. But also just some of the issues that have also come to our attention include, for example, constituencies that had delimitation. So if your constituency was divided in 2 or 3, there is also misinformation around that. But the correct information is whether a district had their constituency delineated or not. You still vote from the same polling station appearing on your voter's card or where you registered from. So that information is some of the information we're trying to put across to the general public.
Let's talk about polling day. On polling day itself, when a voter arrives at the polling station, I would like you to speak to this. What should a voter expect from the moment they arrive at the polling station until they cast their ballot and leave?
Yeah.
What should they expect?
So, Mwila, one of the first things I like to say is that the expectation is you should leave home with your voter's card and your NRC. We've heard of situations where somebody arrives at a polling station without their voter's card or the NRC. So please, as a voter, one important thing you should have is a voter's card and an NRC. And when you reach at a polling station, you will be directed to queue at the correct queue. So at every polling station, we will have voter lists that will be pasted outside in a visible place so that you can check which polling station, especially for polling stations where you have more than one station. It's always good to check which polling station your name appears under.
Okay, and the streams you...
Yes, so now we no longer use streams, so it's still a polling station. So you can have a polling station or a polling location or a school, let's say a school, with various polling stations. So each is a polling station, okay? So when you have to identify your polling station so that you can queue at the right queue. It is always frustrating to go to a polling station, you've stayed for an hour, then you reach the front, then you are told, oh, sorry, you're not supposed to be in this line, you should go to the next line. You know, it's always frustrating.
So what you mean is that this information on the station where I'm supposed to vote is on the voter's card?
Yes, Mwila, it is. It is on the voter's card. That's why voters need to pay particular attention on the details that are recorded on their voter's card. And when they go to their polling station, there are ushers, they'll find ushers at the polling station. They could ask the usher to be directed further if there are multiple polling stations at that particular location, and their ushers will be glad enough to direct them to a correct queue where they are going to vote from. So the correct polling station where they're supposed to vote from. So once they queue, you will, when you get into the polling station, you are going to be identified. So the first table or the first step is you need to produce your NRC and your voter's card, and you'll be identified by the officer, the ECZ officer in the register, and your details have to correspond. So now it's important there are some people who change names, okay? So if your NRC, you have changed names, you have a new NRC with a different name, it's important, this is not really the time for you to change names, because if your names on the NRC and your voter's card, they need to be the same, because you may be thought that you're a different person, you understand? So when you are identified that indeed you are Emma Mwinga, you appear in the register, your NRC and your voter's card are the same, okay? Then you'll be led to the next table. And the next table is where we are inked, okay? The purpose of inking your thumb is to ensure that you don't attempt to vote twice. We need to mark that this individual has actually voted already, okay? So once you are inked, then the officers will now issue you with ballot papers. Now, to remember is that we have 4 types of elections in this election. We are going to vote for the President of the Republic of Zambia. We will vote for the National Assembly Member of Parliament for the respective 226 constituencies. We will then also vote for the mayor or the council chairperson, depending on which location you are in. And last but not the least, we'll vote for a councillor for our local ward where we come from. So you'll be issued with 4 ballot papers, and these ballot papers, you will now be directed to go to the voting booth. And in the voting booth, you have the privacy as a citizen and the secrecy to make your mark on each of the ballot papers. So remember, we earlier discussed that the correct way of making your mark is by putting an X within the confines of the spaces that are provided for on the ballot paper. So you start, if you decide to start with the presidential ballot, you make your mark. You go to the National Assembly ballot paper, you make your mark. The mayoral, you make your mark. And the councillor or local government ballot, you make your mark. And then you forward your ballot papers so that your choice is not known to anyone. And then the presiding officer in the polling station will direct you to the respective ballot boxes where you'll be required to deposit your ballot papers. And thereafter, when you've made your last deposit, and presumably it's always a councillor ballot, then you'll be requested to leave the polling station. Oh. And it's advisable that every citizen, after you've voted, you should leave the polling station and the premises of a polling station, go back home, because it is an offense to just hang around the polling station when elections are going on.
Well, viewers, if you have just joined us, you are watching the Zambia 2026 General Elections program here on Zanis TV, and we are featuring Emma Mwinga, Voter Education Manager from the Electoral Commission of Zambia, and we are looking at what, as voters, some of the questions that we have, and what we need to know as we are approaching the 13th of August, which is poll day here in Zambia. Let's just assume that a voter arrives at the polling station, and then they discover that their name cannot be found or located on the register. What procedures are available, and what should they do?
Yes, so they have to, when a voter goes to a polling station, they are convinced that that polling station is where they registered to vote from. Then they will have to be addressed by the presiding officer. So the way our register is, of course, where our pictures and our details are, that's the register that is certified. But also at the end of the register, there is what we call an exclusion list. And the exclusion list is there because it contains information of either voters that have been excluded for one reason or another. For example, the voter is deceased, they will be put at the exclusion list, on the exclusion list. And also circumstances where a voter attempted to register more than one time, okay? Then they will also appear on the exclusion list, and there will be a remark there. Either it's a duplicate registration, or maybe someone is deceased. So we'll have to first go all around the steps to check if indeed this person, maybe they registered more than 2 times, or more than 1 time rather, and they are in the exclusion list. If they registered more than once, so the commission keeps the second record. So if I registered at this polling station in 2020, 2025, again I registered at another polling station, so the commission will keep the last record. Okay, then the first record will be marked as a duplicate. So let's take, for example, somebody has found that they are a duplicate, then they will have to be referred to the polling station where they are registered to vote from if it's a duplicate. But for example, if maybe they don't appear in that particular voters register, either in the main register or the exclusion, the presiding officer will take note and will refer that incident to our returning officers, and they will provide onward steps.
You talked about taking voter education into different institutions that include schools, yes. Where you are reaching out to first-time voters for the most part in those areas. How do you rate voter education at this stage? We are 25 days to poll day. How much have you done as the Electoral Commission of Zambia? Are you satisfied that you are reaching every corner of this country?
So, you know, education is an ongoing undertaking. So we have reached and disseminated information, but I wouldn't say that every corner has been reached, because we still have 25 days in which, as a commission, we have an opportunity to make sure this information is saturated across the country. When you talk of information penetrating every area, our aim is to reach everywhere. And the information and statistics that we are getting from our monitoring report is very impressive, because our voter educators have gone to most parts of the community. But I wouldn't say everyone has heard the information, because people are in different spaces doing different works. Therefore, that is still an opportunity for the commission to still continue sensitizing and providing information to the general public. I also wanted to make mention that, as you are aware, starting from 2021, the commission prisoners in Zambia are now voting. So even in correctional facilities, the commission has deployed voter education mechanisms there to provide voter education to inmates or persons who are incarcerated, to be able to vote when it comes to when on the 13th of August. If they are registered at the polling station, they will be able to vote.
Let's talk about persons living with disabilities.
Yes.
What is there? There are quite a number of issues. Some of the facilities where people will be going to vote may not really be accommodative. What are you doing about this?
Yes, there are many issues that have come to the attention of the Commission relating to persons with disabilities. And the Commission has done a lot of work to ensure that persons with disabilities are able to participate in this election as much as possible, but also we've provided information, because one of the challenges we faced is the barrier to information. So you may wish to know that from the voter education end, we have translated our voter education materials in Braille and sign language to accommodate to our friends who have faced a lot of barriers in the past. Then also, the Commission has endeavored to ensure that polling stations are located in venues that are accessible through a ramp, so that on the day of voting, persons who are physically challenged or disabled are able to access those polling stations. Then also, we have also implemented certain mechanisms. We will implement certain mechanisms on poll day to facilitate for persons with disabilities. So for example, every person with a disability are going to receive priority voting. So what that means is that if you are a person with a disability, you go to a polling station, you have the right to go to the front of the queue, and you'll be given express attention to be able to vote and return home. Then also, other than that, we have the tactile ballot paper jacket that will be present in all the polling stations across the country. So those that are the visually impaired voters are at liberty to use the tactile ballot paper jacket, or those of low vision, they can use it to facilitate them to make their vote in secret, to vote in secret. But if maybe you are not Braille competent and you are not able to
Some of them need assistance.
Yes,
who helps?
Now. Yes, so there is now, the Commission has in place policy where I can go, if I am blind, I can go with an ex-friend, somebody I trust, someone who will not manipulate my vote. I go with them, provided they have a green national registration card. They don't need to be a registered voter. They just have to be 18 years and above and they should go with a green national registration card, and they go with the voter that needs assistance, then the presiding officer will be able to facilitate for that voter to be assisted to vote. But I may go to a polling station and I haven't come with anyone to assist me. The law requires that the presiding officer should assist such a voter, okay? And our presiding officers are trained, are well trained, and they are going to perform their duties with the utmost confidentiality, but also integrity, because we don't want anyone to feel that, oh, if a presiding officer is going to assist me to vote, how do I know that I've actually voted on the candidate I really wanted? So they are trained. They will ensure that they discharge their duties to ensure that the voter's choice is the one that is actually reflected.
In your closing remarks, what word would you leave with every voter out there?
Yes.
As we are now racing towards the 13th of August.
Yes. Your vote matters. One vote in this country matters, because it can make a candidate win or lose. So your vote matters, and you need to ensure that you exercise your vote. Do not have second thoughts about going to vote on 13th of August. You need to go and exercise your vote. But also, as we go towards the election day, I think we all need to uphold peace. We only have one Zambia. And this Zambia has to be protected by us advancing peace. We may have different opinions as citizens supporting different political parties, but at the end of the day, we need to agree that we need to coexist and live in peace. So I want to encourage all the voters to prepare to go and vote on 13th of August in a peaceful manner.
Ms. Mwinga, I would like to say thank you so much.
Thank you too.
For coming and sharing these insights that are very important as we are now drawing closer to election day.
Thank you so much, and it was a pleasure being here.
Thank you. Well, viewers, that's it for today. If you are a registered voter, remember you have a responsibility to prepare, seek accurate information, and participate peacefully. Democracy, remember this, democracy works best when citizens make informed decisions or choices and respect one another regardless of political affiliation. Thank you for watching the Zambia 2026 General Elections program. My name is Victor Mwila. Until next time, stay informed, stay peaceful, and remember to exercise your right to vote on Thursday, August 13, 2026. It's bye for now.